So welcome everybody. It does sound like you can hear us. So can you put in the chat or just unmute yourself on your mic and let us know if you can see our screen. You should see home-based meetups for the opening session right now. Can everybody see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, sounds good. We're going to stay on video just for a little bit until we get introductions done, and then Tiffany and I will be going off video just to save bandwidth and let y'all know that. So we do have somebody that looks like they can't hear. Daniel, how do you fix audio? Let's see. I'm in meetings, so I got to find out where that's at now. So it looks like there's a switch audio under there. If somebody wants to respond to Daniel, there's a switch audio under the panel settings on under the three dots.
Under 3 dots. And do switch audio.
Check that or log out and log back in and make sure they select audio. All right, it looks like we're good to go. So I'll move on. And please, there you go. Thank you. Mute as you come in. You don't get a lot of background noise, so I appreciate that. Thank you. All right, so we do want you to sign in today. We do like to keep up with the attendance at our sessions, and that link is in the chat. So if we need to repost that, I can. Let me do that one more time just to make sure you have that. Because I know sometimes come in after we post, you can't see the previous posts. Let's try this. There we go. All right. So please, there's the link to our opening slides if you want a copy of those. If you do open those and you're following along those, you'll have to manually move them, or you can stay and watch on our screen here. We do have some links, but we'll also post those links in the chat. So please do sign in today. And I also posted your slides listing there as well. So yes, we are in WebEx. This is new to DPI. So we've had a little bit of a learning curve. There is a little video here if you want to watch that later for the next time we're joining on WebEx. There should be like a panel that you can unmute and mute. You can turn on your video. You can see the participants list. There's a little talk bubble for you to chat, and you can put your questions in the chat. Make sure the to says to everyone. You can chat people by themselves, but if you do that, make sure you put it back on everyone later if you're asking questions that everybody should see. And here's our purpose of our meetups. We appreciate having some more folks on our meetups today. Is Rob joining us? Rob, he is here. So let me let Rob talk about the rest of these slides. Welcome, Rob.
Hey, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us today for learning.com and the home-based meetup that we're having with them. They have spent a summer doing very good things and really working with us to put out something that I think is very valuable for you. So I'm glad that you are here. I want to say that these home-based meetups are very important to us. This is our opportunity to talk to you directly in the field and to help you with the products we offer and make sure we're all on the same page with what is going on. Next slide, please. All right, there we go. We are, yeah, that's good. That's perfect. Thank you. We are very happy to put out a new format for you. We are having an opening session, which you are part of now. After I finish with these updates and Cammie and Audrey finish with the updates, you'll hear from a home-based advisor that kind of lets you know a little bit about learning.com and kind of what they're doing. And then we're going to have a 1-hour training to where when you fill out the feedback form at the end of this session, you will get a CEU credit. We think that this is going to be very beneficial to you and that it should help not only get you training, but also provide you with some CEU credits. We are very thrilled to have you with us today. And as you can see, this agenda is there for the the slides, the home-based meetup September open again. We're trying to get you all the information we can. Next slide, please.
There must be a lag time.
A little bit of a lag time. We've got it straight. So this week we are in the double dose day of home base. This is the 1 o'clock session after we had the Power School session this morning. And now in the afternoon, we're having learning.com. Tomorrow will be Canvas, and Friday will be Go Open North Carolina. We are very excited that we're able to do these formats with you. Next slide, please. A little bit of a lag. We're working. If you would like to go to those, please sign up for those at those WebEx links.
Oh, didn't I? It's totally skipped one of my slides then. Okay.
I am still seeing the other one, so that's okay. There we go. The home-based meetup, there's the schedule. We're in the middle of them this week. In November 2020, we have that one, 16, 17, 18, and 19, in February and in April. One thing I would point out about the virtual sessions, they're good because you hear the information one time. It's unfortunate that we just don't get to see you. It means a lot for us to see you out in the field and in your environment and how well you're doing in your areas. We are a part of digital teaching and learning, and home base is, and I just want to make sure that you're aware of all the resources that DTL has put out there from the standpoint of our homepage, which is Dr. Wren's mission and vision and message there, all the remote learning resources and information we have put out, and lighting your way forward. That is our guide to help as you manage through COVID-19 pandemic that we're currently in. Next slide, please.
Yeah, there's like a 30-second.
Yeah, we're doing okay. There's the home base. There's the home base resources we just want to make you aware of. Make sure you go to the home base website at DPI, and that should give you all the resources you need about all the products that we offer. Next slide, please. We are very excited to tell you about some team changes that are occurring at home base. We have Pam Batchelor, who had Canvas, Go Open, Imagine Math, and SchoolNet, and some of her products are going to John Mayers, who's going to do SchoolNet and still work with the professional learning team, and Dr. Carmela Fair is going to take Imagine Math. We believe that with her background in math, she'll be an excellent resource for the Imagine Math folks. And then Cami had Nisus and Learning.com, and she will be focusing on Nisus, and we're very happy to have Audrey on this call with us here today, as this is kind of the handoff from one person to the next, and Audrey Long will be working with Learning.com in the future. And then please make sure that you please give us the most up-to-date information for the contacts and let us know. Make sure we are communicating with the right people. Next slide, please. And I believe that this is where Cami takes over.
Yeah. All right. So we do have a new COVID 2020 page for our Nisus folks, and that's our teachers and principals that are doing observations and evaluations. And now that everybody is in either a blended learning environment or a remote learning environment, we had lots of questions surrounding how to do remote observations of teachers. This is your resources. These were created by Dr. Robert Sachs and Dr. Kim Simmons here at DPI. So this is the page that you would go to if you're a teacher or a principal or evaluator or anybody that works around Nisus. Audrey, would you like to talk about this side?
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Audrey Long, and I'm excited about this new opportunity and look forward to working with Cami and Tiffany. Effective August 10th, NCDPI and Learning.com made remote the NC remote instruction sequence, and we're excited about that. With the sequence, this is part of the Easy Tech library, and you can use the sequences, the sequence design that's already created. And in addition to that, you can add additional curriculum or you can customize according to your class needs. I'd like to also mention that it has a new gamified student interface. So I'm sure your students will enjoy that. And this is for remote learning for K through 8th grade. Okay.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
And if you want to know more, we did include a
Yeah, and
link
I'd
to.
also, yeah, up in the right-hand corner, I'm sorry, thanks for reminding me, Cammie, up in the right-hand corner, we have a recorded webinar on the digital literacy initiative supporting the NC Remote Instruction Plan. So at your convenience, you can go out and look at that webinar. And we also have a presentation slide deck that's mentioned also, and we will put that information in the chat for you. Okay. Mm-hmm.
All right. So, and I don't know if Rob wants to jump in, or I can let you know that we are getting ready to jump over to our learning.com breakout session. Here's the link for the slide deck that has been posted in the chat.
Okay.
This is our home-based team, so you can get a look at all of us when you see our faces. I see a few cameras on, so I do appreciate seeing some faces and getting to know the names and the faces together. So if Rob, if you have nothing else to offer, we're going to pop over to the learning.com slides.
Sounds good. Thank you very much, ma'am.
All right, thank you guys.
Okay.
And I think my lag time kind of is catching up, I hope. So if we move too fast and you guys are seeing the slides, just let us know. So yes, welcome to learning.com session. Audrey, you need to mute?
Let me see. Did you want me to mute? You said
Yes.
oh, okay.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So the bit.ly right here is in your chat, and we are using the chat for you to ask your questions, and it should post to everyone. We mentioned that earlier, so if anybody has any issues with that, please let us know. For today, we had our opening session, and then we're doing introductions next for those of us that are presenting right now. And then we're going to have some updates from the home base team and learning.com. And then we're going to have our training session that's going to be run by Tiffany Kinney. And we're going to talk about strategies for your remote learning environments and the DLA benchmark and summative assessments for 5th and 8th graders. And then finally, we're going to try to leave some time for some networking for your questions. And we'll give you the link to our feedback survey where you can complete the survey and you'll get emailed a certificate for your training session. I'm Cammie Nairn. I do work for NCDPI in the Digital Teaching and Learning Division under Home Base, where I do manage the teacher evaluation system, NESIS, and I'm handing over learning.com to Audrey. So I'll let Audrey reintroduce herself real quick.
Okay. Hello, I'm Audrey Long, and like I said, I look forward to working with learning.com and Tiffany and Brian as well.
All right, and Tiffany, did you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, Cammie and Audrey. Hi, everyone. This is Tiffany Kinney. I know many of you know me, some of you may not know me, but I am the state program manager with learning.com, and I support North Carolina and also South Carolina. And my role is to support the entire life cycle, implementation life cycle of your learning.com Easy Tech curriculum. And then also, of course, oversee your professional development and really help you meet your district's digital literacy skills goals for the year. So I am a added layer of support for you guys, and so this is my contact information. Also, Brian Rose is my partner in crime. He was unable to join today, but he has been on previous home-based meetups as well, and will pop into other meetings and webinars we may have. But he is the Senior Vice President of Business Development and Strategic Partnerships at Learning.com. And some of you may have seen emails coming from Brian as well. So that is who we are, and we just appreciate this opportunity to present to you guys today. Thank you.
Thank you, Tiffany. All right, we do have an activity for you to start with. I don't, if everybody's not done a Padlet before, we're going to explain that in just a minute. Let me get this link copied and posted in the chat. We want you to share your good news and introduce yourselves and all that. So let me click on that link and show you what we're doing. And hopefully it's not taking too long to show up. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my camera if I can. Well, I don't know if it's going to let me do that from there. I'll do that in just a minute. So here is your Padlet. And if you've not used one before, we are going to ask you to post a note. There's some directions right here. And to post a note, you're going to click the plus sign. You can put a title in here. So this is my note. Whatever you're talking about. If you have good news to share in your life, at work, anything, we want to hear about it. Then you can put another note in here. And if you're brand new to home-based meetups, or if you're brand new to learning.com, please do add a note under the good news to share. Once you click off your note, it's posted. Before you click off of it, if you want to add a picture or get all fancy, right there's the time to do that with the 3 dots. Once you click off of it, it's posted. Look, everybody's got the hang of it already. So, and then once you've got it posted, you can go back under the 3 dots at the top and you can change the color of your note. You can heart somebody's comments, and you can add comments to other people's comments. So please have that. We're going to give you a couple minutes to share your good news. Tell us about any successes that you're having with learning.com. We've done the new NC remote sequences. Maybe you're trying some other things new with learning.com and it's going well. Maybe you're trying something and it's been a challenge. So put your challenges under the challenges column. And I'll move my note out of your way. And if you have any other questions, and this can be used throughout our whole session today, put them in the questions column. If these are something that we need to take back, we will need your email addresses in here if you're going to post a question here. You can still post questions in the chat. We'll follow up on those. And then training opportunity. Tiffany offers training opportunities for you guys. And she offers a customized training for you. So if you want her to contact you, please list your email and name and district under the training opportunity section. So let me give you maybe a couple minutes and then we'll review these and talk about them.
I'm trying to click some of the hearts, Cammy, having a problem with. I don't know why.
All right, sorry, I was muted. So I don't know.
Yeah, I was trying to click. Oh, let me see that one.
Yeah.
I don't know that. You got yours. I don't know why I won't do mine. Yeah. Well,
We'll
I was
have to
trying
check the settings maybe.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and you guys are free to unmute throughout this session and ask questions out loud. We're going to give you, let's take maybe another 30 seconds or 45 seconds, and we'll start going through these. Somebody got
Yeah.
creative. Their picture out there.
Picture, yeah.
All right, so we're going to start with the good news to share. You guys keep typing. You can type away in the other columns, and we'll come back and review. So let's see. The first one says, hello, I'm currently using Codesters with the 7th graders, and they really love that. Do you want to unmute and talk about that a little bit? Today.
Yes, I teach computer science for middle school, and that was one of the things that really drew me to learning.com was the coding that is available through, was it Easy Code Pillars?
Okay.
And so I've been trying various things for a few years, and this is one of the better ones. And the kids like it. I like it. It's fun to play with, and they're getting into more what looks more like coding than just dragging blocks over, and they really appreciate that. And they're using Python, learning a practical language, and I don't know. They seem to like it and enjoy it. And I like watching them create things.
Yeah. Yeah, if they're enjoying it, they're learning while they're
Yeah.
enjoying it. That's great. All
Yeah.
right, thank you, Ron. All right, a better uptake. We are seeing more interest and usage in, I think it's Wayne County Public Schools, which makes me very excited. Who's with us from Wayne today? Is that Tony? Tony, any other comments to that?
No, it's making me excited. Like to see other people picking it up and using it a lot more, and I think it really works out well with all the remote instruction going on. I think it makes it easy for media coordinators and everybody else to get out content.
Yes. All right. Thank you, Tony. All right. I've got a hello and a picture. Does somebody want to introduce themselves? We'd like a name to go with that picture. Well, if you want to talk later,
that is Carrie. That's Carrie.
Hey, there you go, Tiffany. Thank you. It's a good picture.
Yes.
All right, and where's Carrie from? Carrie's from Tiffany.
Yes. There she is. I was waiting for her. I do know where she is.
Hi, I'm in Edenton Chowan Public Schools, and Tiffany and I have been video chatting a lot lately, so she probably recognized the location. So anyway, nice to see you all.
Nice to see you too.
See ya.
Nice to meet you, Carrie. All right. Yeah, we're having a great week with our students back on site. We're on AABB schedule. Miss our kiddos. Yeah, that's got to be hard. You can't see them really face to face. So yeah, I got a kindergartner starting, and she's just been online, so she really hadn't experienced a face to face school yet. So I'm ready for them to be able to do that as well. All right, I've recently became new to homebasedlearning.com. I'm excited and eager to learn any important information that I need to know. Does the person that posted that want to say anything? We'll give you a minute to unmute. We'll move on.
Hey, I'm just excited to be here to learn some new information.
Okay. You're kind of quiet. It's hard to hear. All right. The next one was they're a new librarian and new to learning.com. Really excited to have this resource for grade level digital learning resources.
Woo. That's me.
Hey, Susan.
Hi.
Wow.
Yeah, that's.
Okay, try again.
Sorry.
I don't know why it's doing that. Well, hey, Susan, we're glad to have you here. We'll have to figure out why the feedback's doing that. And then we have Danny from NCPS. Danny, did you want to unmute and talk about your comments starting their second year with learning.com?
I was just saying, happy to be joining again. Had some decent success last year, not as much as we wanted to, but better start with Tiffany helping our folks get the training done again. Techquest, I think, is going to be a big boost for us, and then not have to go and add lessons continuously, but get it started and then have the teacher be able to follow through with that virtual sessions.
All right. Okay, thank you. Sorry about that. All right, and then we have hope everyone is having a great day. Thankful to be here. That's Lindsay. Hey, Lindsay from Digital Teaching and Learning. Did you want to say hi, Lindsay? And then we have one more mystery person down here. I'm happy to join learning.com. I'm looking forward to learning more about the program. All right, does anybody else want to say hello before we move on? All right, let's look at some successes. It says gamification is great. The new gamification interface is really great. And I think we're going to take maybe a little look at that. We had a webinar the other week with NC Bold, and we really got a chance to look at that. I'll post those sessions soon to the YouTube site, so we'll get those posted. And then another success, our kids are in and working. Great. Spoke to instructional coaches today about the new additions. All right. And somebody's adding something, so we'll give them time to do that. We do have a challenge out here. Kindergarten is struggling to find letters because the screen showed capital letters, but their Chromebook keyboard has lowercase. I believe that's something that Tiffany may want to take back.
Yes, I can certainly take that back. And thank you. Yes, all this I can take back to the development team and see if there's something we can do. Yeah.
Right. All right, and then we have an additional success. Really excited about the new remote learning topics to Techquest. Yes, we are too. Make sure we don't have any other new ones. Okay, thank you guys for participating in that pilot. We do take anything back and review, and we will follow up on any challenges, but we're excited to have you here today as well. Let me see if I can get back to my slides. My little thing at the top keeps popping down. There we go. I think you pretty much explained this on the opening slides, but do you want to say anything quick about this before we move to the second slide?
Let me see. Yeah, I have just a little, make sure I'm on the correct one. No, just that, like we were saying before, and it's good to hear that someone is already having much success with the gamification system. We really, glad to hear that news. And like I said, it includes other areas, other skill sets, such as the computer fundamentals, the online safety and digital citizenship, keyboarding, word processing, and the internet usage as well. And we do have, like I said, does have online communications and computational thinking and coding fundamentals. And glad to hear that Ron is also being very successful with the Codester. So we look forward to having much more success with those two systems, the coding and the gamification. Okay. Okay, you can go to the next one.
Yeah, I did. It's getting slow again.
Oh, okay. That's okay. Okay, and as noted in the previous slide, the sequences are in keyboarding, once again, online digital citizenship. And also it mentions at the bottom, the NC remote sequences pacing guide calendar. The pacing guide provides an in-depth learning path for weekly digital skills instruction, and the guide is editable, and it allows for customization and differentiation needs as well. And again, we're very excited about these new updates to learning.com. Anybody have any questions right now about maybe about the pacing guide or anything?
Yeah, and check out the one pager as well. And it must be my computer because it's being really slow. There's a one pager out there for your teachers as well that explains the different areas that quickly for the teacher. And we've described, or Tiffany put it together for us on a one page. So please share that with your teachers.
Okay.
All right, can you see the next slide? It's the participants.
Yeah, it's hasn't come up yet.
All right.
That's it. Okay, here we go. This shows us currently we have 37 Tier 1 PSUs that are participating in the NCDPI's K through 12 digital learning initiative. Right now, we have the most participation from the Northeast. We have like 12 in Northeast and also like 6 Southeast region, 4 from North Central, 8 in Sand Hills, 3 in the Piedmont Triad, and 4 in in the Western Division. So we're excited about all of those and look forward to adding more. So we look forward, word of mouth is always good. So if you can spread the good news to your coworkers in other regions to let them know all of the successes that you have in learning.com, we sure would appreciate it. Okay. So the next one. Okay. So like I said, we have 37 currently with the Tier 1 funding, and the funding needs to be used by November the 30th, or it will go, or you will lose it. So you want to make sure that you do use your funding by November the 30th. As we said, the NCDPI K-8 Digital Literacy Initiative, learning.com, the PSU funding for student licenses has been approved, and funds have been allotted per student based on the PSU survey responses for estimated student licenses needed for the school year 2020 to 2021. There is also the convenience contract for non-tier PSUs, and that contract pricing that's available is $750 per student or $3,200 per site license. Is there anything else that you want to add to that as well, Cammie?
No, that was very good. Thank you, Audrey. We're getting ready to make Tiffany the presenter. Does anybody have any questions for DPI before we turn it over to Tiffany? And
I do have a question about the funding.
Okay.
Was the amount of funding that we received from DPI should have been for the total amount for our students? There shouldn't have been any extra this year. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, will you repeat that one more time?
The funding we received should have just been enough to cover our student license. There were no extra funds.
Yeah, the policy changed, so it only covered student licenses.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Cammie, this is Jill. Lindsay, if I need to reach out to you, I can for any clarifications.
All right, Tiffany, I think you've got presentation rights.
Okay. Let me start to share. All right. Okay, so you should be able to see my screen now. Is that correct?
It says it's starting to share.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay, great. I am also still learning WebEx, so please forgive me as I'm learning to use this program as well. But yes, thank you, Cami, and also Audrey, for sharing that information about funding and also our 37 tier ones. We did have a few tier ones from last year that moved into a tier 2 status, and so a couple of those did convert into the state convenience pricing. So we're just above about 40 districts and charters using in North Carolina, and then we do have a few private schools in North Carolina that are also using learning.com. So I just wanted to give you a little update on that. Okay. I am also going to make sure I'm going to stop sharing my video so I can save some bandwidth. And there we go. So now on your screen, you should see new features and updates. Do we see that? I'm just seeing how much lag time we have.
Yes, I see it.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Yay! All right, so very excited to share with you guys the new features and updates we have for learning.com. Some of these you have probably read about in the communications that go to your district coordinators, or if you are a district coordinator, or you've attended some of our webinars. Just wanted to kind of sum those up for you, and I will be doing a little demo of a couple things later. And then, of course, we have the training portion. So we have our Techquest, of course. Heard some of you are really enjoying using Techquest. And, of course, that is our online student resource from learning.com. It's brand new, providing our K-8 learners with access to gamified content that teaches them essential technology skills for readiness in today's digital world. So what's really nice about Techquest is that it does not require the traditional class creation or curriculum assignment setup steps. What it does is it uses the grade level assigned to the student to determine the best pathway. So in order to get started in Techquest, all your students need is there needs to be a student account created, and they need to have a grade level assigned to each student. Once that's completed, the student logs in and they begin to learn their digital skills. So it's really as simple as that. So those of you that haven't checked out Techquest, please do. Again, how it differs from the North Carolina remote learning sequences in a couple ways. The Techquest is only auto-scored easy tech lessons and the corresponding skills checks. However, remember the remote learning sequences, which I also have here as a new feature and update. Those are sequences based on the skills of computer fundamentals, online safety and digital citizenship, keyboarding, word processing, internet usage, and online communications, and computational thinking and coding. And those have actually both auto-scored items and teacher-facilitated items. And of course, those, like Audrey had explained before, they were developed in a collaboration with DPI and also our learning.com hub group committee members. And so we really appreciate that collaboration. And that was really just a great collaboration we had over the summer to complete those remote learning sequences. So there's a few distinct differences between the two. And then also the North Carolina Digital Learning Standards are now live in the platform. They can be found under the North Carolina Standard Course of Study in Technology Education, so they are there. And then, of course, the Online Training Center. The Online Training Center is a new feature to provide training for your educators. Maybe you do not have time to schedule training for your district and they may need an intro level or a refresher course. The Online Training Center has the videos, supplemental materials to go through a course, or educators to go through a course at their own pace. Only thing they need is a learning.com login to access. And actually, all of that is explained in that North Carolina digital literacy brief that Audrey had showed you on a little earlier in a previous slide. But if you have any questions or trouble accessing that, please reach out to one of us and we can help you with those. And again, that takes about 2 hours to complete, and you get a certificate at the very end. And then, of course, our partnership with Common Sense Education has added quite a wealth of new easy tech or new online safety and digital citizenship lessons. And if I have time today, I'll try to demo some of that. But if you haven't seen it, it's really amazing. Those of you that are familiar with Common Sense Education, it's just great quality materials. There's lesson plans. There's student videos that you can assign to your students, and then of course tie in those discussions to support those instructional videos. All right. And then what's next? Very exciting stuff coming along. Of course, we've been working with the Department of Public Instruction and the Digital Teaching and Learning, including the Digital Teaching and Learning team and home-based teams, to really revamp our remote learning lessons. And we just really thank them for the collaboration with those. And so these lessons are intended to help our learners better navigate remote learning styles and hybrid learning environments. And those lessons, there's 4, and several of these are already completed. They're available now. Commenting in the classroom, which was already added to the Techquest pathway as well and into the Easy Tech curriculum. So if you saw that lesson pop up in as the beginning, starting in 3rd grade, that's what that is. Then you have virtual classroom meetings, netiquette, and online communication. And then the 4th one is troubleshooting basics for online learning. I do know that's not quite ready. It will be ready in the next few weeks. And really the benefits of using this is we want our students to learn how to navigate software for remote learning, as well as develop good habits to work independently. Okay, so also we want to make sure that the lessons are subject agnostic, meaning students can participate in any remote or hybrid learning environment and will be able to apply those skills across all of their learning. Okay, so I'm also going to show you a little demo of that, but just really exciting stuff. Again, all of that will be complete within the next few weeks. And if you haven't checked out commenting in the classroom and what that and which I said is already in the platform. That one is about understanding like right and wrong way to comment in an online classroom environment. Understanding what gets posted online can be permanent. Understanding what to do if you see someone that is cyberbullied. And this was again based on feedback from not only our users, but also DPI and other learning.com users around the nation saying, hey, we really need some more remote learning lessons. And so that is available now. So very excited about that. The Techquest teacher dashboard is coming as well. I know a few of you have reached out and said, hey, I really love the Techquest, but how can I monitor student progress and overall performance? So that is actually slated to be complete at the end of this week as well. So that is coming up, so you can see your overall performance and student progress. And then just a heads up that the Techquest teacher dashboard will be available only in the new teacher experience platform. And I'll be sending out emails and information about this when everything is ready to go. Also coming, expanded K2 lessons. So with brand new lessons for students in K2, those skill areas are going to be computer fundamentals and keyboarding, with revised and additional topics covered that are specifically targeted to a single grade. There's also a flyer attached here if you want to click on that. There's some other things highlighted, like the new keyboarding games that are available, some coding, and then we do offer virtual robotics through our partners with Coder Z. That is not included in the K-8 digital initiative plan, but if you were interested in adding that on or more coding, you can reach out to me and we can discuss further. So you'll see several different things in the new features and updates flyer. All right. Any questions so far? Okay. Cammie, are you seeing any questions?
I am not in the chat.
Okay. Okay, great. So I explained what Techquest was, but just to go a little more in depth here, wanted you to see some screenshots of the student view. Of course, this is in the new gamified student-led experience path, and I labeled these so you could see the different backgrounds for the grade bands. So they are grade appropriate paths of auto-scored easy tech lesson and corresponding skills checks. As a reminder, those skills checks do start in 3rd grade, and they go 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th through 8th grade. I did complete a skills checks webinar, and I will be sending out the recording as well and posting that. So if you didn't have a chance to check that out, it's a great webinar to attend and talks all about just the skills checks. And then it covers the digital literacy skills listed on your screen there. So those skills, we find them essential technology skills to be ready in today's learning environments, and they are essential. So there is a sequence of content that students are expected to work through, where students will earn stars for lessons completed. So they earn more stars will be earned for better performance in the lesson. Okay, and it covers all those skills. It does start with, everything starts with, the paths always start with online safety. Okay, just so you know. And then there's adaptive keyboarding, of course, starting in 3rd grade and so forth. And as a reminder, no traditional class creation or curriculum assignment setup steps. Teachers don't have to manage any classes with Techquest. And then just like we have with the North Carolina remote learning sequences, we have a pacing guide for that. We also have a curriculum sequence for Techquest. So I did hyperlink this in today's slides. So if you click on the image here, it will take you out to our support site that you can see all those lessons. Again, they're all auto-scored items in Techquest, and they're by grade level. So if you would like to view what the lessons are prior to your students starting on the Techquest, because obviously only thing you would see would be from the teacher dashboard point of view. Your students will go through those lessons, so you want to check out what they're learning, right? So you can click on any of these to see what they're learning. The skills checks as well, if you haven't become familiar with those, but you just click on one of those to view it as what a student would see. Okay, so it'll have information about that particular lesson. And then you can click play on to launch the lesson. So just wanted you to see here that you are able to view it, so you know exactly what your students are working through, their sequence of content. It is a forced sequence, so the students cannot move forward before completing the lesson. So it is a forced sequence set to a 0% minimum score. All right. Okay, and I just said be sure you're logged into learning.com if you want to view those lessons as well. And I just also included some screenshots of the new student experience, gamified experience. The first time your students log in, whether they're using the North Carolina remote learning sequences, Techquest, or any kind of manually created classes and assigned materials, they will see the new gamified experience. Okay, so instead of having a list of assignments, they're going to have their classes, and your just a heads up, your created classes or any other classes that are in there can coexist with Techquest. The teacher class or whatever's created by the teacher or a group will always show first, and then Techquest would come the last option. They select their avatar the first time they log in. And then this is just another, so you can see, again, this is for the pathway of of your middle school, and then arcade. So they can unlock games along the way, adaptive keyboarding. If they have met their touch typing practice time, they can unlock more games. So just wanted to let you know, just in case you haven't seen it, what it looks like on the student side of things. Okay, before we go into using Easy Tech curriculum in all learning environments, I just wanted to show you very quickly what it looked like live for Techquest, those of you that may have not seen it. And this is just a demo student, and I use as my niece. All right, here you go. Now, I have logged in a few times, so that's why it did not ask for me to pick an avatar. So right now, you should be seeing a screen with my Gamified Techquest pathway. And this is for my seventh grade niece. At the very beginning, I wanted to point you to this, commenting in the virtual classroom new. So that is one of the new remote learning lessons. And you can click on that to view. And just so you know, this is an instructional video. This is Trey. He would talk you through commenting in a virtual classroom, the right and the wrong, how to deal with the cyberbullying. And at the very end, there is an exit ticket. So that exit ticket has a few questions that the student would answer before moving on. So just want to let you know, check it out when you have time, that this has already been added, and it's also under your online safety and digital citizenship tile. Okay. All right, and just has a positive message. Keep it at it. Try again to earn stars. You can do it. So just wanted to show you, of course, this little classes tab here. You have my class that I created, shows first, and then Techquest. And I've had some people say, well, if Techquest is doing all the work for me, what can I do? Like what would be the benefit of me creating a manually created class or having additional class assignments? Well, I'm glad you asked. The reason why we can do this is, remember that Techquest is only auto-scored items, okay? So we're talking skills checks, lessons, and quizzes, right? But let's say that you wanted to provide some extended content. I would definitely recommend going in and creating a group or a class that has some of the extended content, like the discussions or the application exercises that accompany those lessons and that direct instruction. That is going to, of course, extend their knowledge of that digital skill area. Also, don't forget about the common sense education items available. Wonderful for online safety and digital citizenship, and definitely easy to use as an extended activity. So for a hybrid learning environment or a remote learning environment, or even any face-to-face, it would work very well to extend the content and have some teacher facilitated items. So just want to let you know they can coexist. And while I'm here, this is something else that has been added. If you click on this little question mark at the top right-hand corner, as a student, the help button, we have added tips for success in online learning. So if you click on that, you will receive a PDF, an infographic. Okay, so just some tips for success for the online learner. So you can go through and read some of these, create a good learning environment, and some tips and tricks here. How to be an independent learner. And then we've got know how, when, and where to communicate. So all these tips and strategies here, and setting goals. All right, so nice. They can print it out, they can save it. You can share it with you as a class. You can read it to them, go over it as a discussion, right? So that is something new that has also been added. Okay. All right. I'm going to exit out of that. Any questions before moving on to using Easy Tech curriculum in all learning environments? I'm going to pause right there. Any questions?
I'm not seeing any. I don't see any questions in the chat. So if you guys do
No,
have
I
any
don't see
questions,
any
you'll
either.
unmute.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, send them in as I'm speaking. Again, this is your time. I want this to be as collaborative as possible. So as promised, I wanted to share some examples of how we can use Easy Tech curriculum in all learning environments. And this would also be applicable to Techquest and also the North Carolina remote learning sequences. So, we could use this in all learning environments, a bell ringer activity, adaptive keyboarding practice, using that time, maybe a short window of time, maybe 15 minutes or 10 minutes a day for grades 3 through 8. You can use Easy Tech as a center. Flip in your classroom. One idea I had and was shared to me as well was common sense education, those lessons. Very easy to flip your classroom because the lesson slides are already ready made, but also the student videos. So you could project or tell your students, assign that student video to your students and say, hey, watch this 2 to 3 minute video, and then we're going to come back and have a discussion, or we're going to work through this application exercise together. So flipping your classroom works really well with that. The we do, you do. Think about your youngest learners, like your K2 learners. So you can actually pull up that lesson as a teacher. I showed you how to view those lessons, and you can do that in the platform too. You can actually go through the lesson or the lesson slides, pull up those vocabulary words. And so you can familiarize your students with what they're going to be learning. So you can do it together, and then you can assign it to them to do individually. So you certainly can go over those lessons with your little kids. K2 is really what I'm targeting here when I'm talking about this too. And then they can have a chance to work independently. Homework, we say about 2 times a week. We even say with curriculum, even with Techquest, it's recommended for Techquest at least spending 15 to 20 minutes twice a week, or up to 45 minutes a week is ideal for that. And then integrated into core content classes. We are seeing more of this today. Think about what we offer in like business applications. Let's talk about like presentations. I taught 4th grade. It was one of my favorite, well, I will say, okay, it was my favorite grade to teach. And I had to, we were learning about North Carolina history in 4th grade. And so I actually had to take the time as a teacher to teach them how to create a presentation, because that was the culminating project at the end about their assigned county of North Carolina. So integrating that and maybe in your social studies lessons, or let's say you're in science and you're learning about let's say, matter or something, just trying to think of all these different science lessons I've had. Very easy. There's presentations, there's word applications, the teacher students how to actually create these final products, right? And then they can show and demonstrate their understanding and apply what they've learned through the skills they've learned through Easy Tech. All right. And then just wanted to talk about too how to use Easy Tech curriculum in an asynchronous learning environment. Again, some of these are the very same, but adaptive keyboarding, very easy to do in that kind of learning environment. Flip in your classroom, of course. Homework, integrated into core content areas, and into a synchronous learning environment. Again, if you're meeting face-to-face, and I know some districts will plan to meet face-to-face again soon, or maybe you've already started that. A bell ringer activity, maybe you have just 10 to 15 minutes in the morning, using as a center or rotation. I had centers and rotations also in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th grade. So this could definitely, if you have, let's say that you only have 4 computers in your class, it could be used as a rotation. And some of you may be 1-to-1, so it may work even better for you guys. Flip in your classroom. Again, flip in your classroom meaning, okay, you assign the video, or you can assign actually the direct instruction lesson and then come back as a whole group to talk about any or provide any extension activities like those discussions and application exercises. Again, applying what they've learned, applying the skills, what they've learned, and then, of course, the we do, you do model. Okay. Excuse me. Optimizing instruction for remote learning environments. And I'm going to pause right there for a drink of water. Okay. And please, you guys, if you have any questions, send those in. Excuse me. So optimizing instruction for remote learning environments, really important, of course, to focus on relationships, know your audience, which can be very difficult when, you know, you start off the year completely, maybe you're in Plan C, remote learning, but just taking time to really know how your students learn and know your audience, keeping it simple. I always say go with whatever works for your district or your schools. Meaning you do not want to add all these new things, new tools for them to learn right off the bat. Just keep it simple. If you can't go, let's say if you want to start using learning.com slowly this year, maybe you want to start with just one digital skill. Maybe you just want to focus on common sense education lessons, that you start off that way. You want to introduce that to them that way, and then get them into maybe Techquest or assigning one unit at a time. So again, keeping it simple, varying delivery modes and pacing. All right. So again, how are you delivering the curriculum? You can have discussions. You can do application exercises together. You don't have to assign those individually. And then also pacing. And remember, we do have pacing guides to help you with that. And then, very important, communicating expectations with parents and students. We do have on our support site, and even a part of the remote instruction plans, I added a tab to the pacing calendar about a letter to your parents that may help you with that outreach as well. Engagement tips for a remote learning environment. So here's a few examples I came up with, and then also talked with a colleague that used learning.com with her students. But some ways we can engage with our remote learners: answers in chat, of course, using hand signals, color cards, emojis, hands to cover the camera. So let's say you ask a question over, you're having this discussion, you're asking a question. If you can use your hand to cover the camera on your laptop. If you like, if you believe this was an example of cyberbullying. It's kind of like voting, right? Teacher tools, and that means any kind of tools that you already use for in your classroom. So that might be, you might be using Google Slides, Google Docs. You may be using Zoom meetings or Padlets or whatever tools you're using to capture learning. Student teacher takes the mic. So a student-led discussion. Having a student-led discussion, let's say that you assign let's say cyberbullying, one of the lessons out, and you group your students and say, okay, let's have a student-led discussion. You can pick a group member to be the presenter, or, however you want to do that. But that really means a student-led discussion, or you could do a jigsaw. Reward party. So, if the class completes a task or gets through a number of lessons, the class can earn a reward. That's really up to the teacher. So if they want some DJ minutes or whatever, just a little reward party, and it doesn't really have to cost the teacher anything. Adapting think, pair, share, use breakout rooms with a collaborative doc. using online tools for interactive digital word wall. Again, we have vocabulary that is part of our curriculum, part of the lessons you can see. Also in Common Sense Education, there's key vocabulary, so maybe you want to use Padlet or Google Slides. Leverage your discussion board, so virtual galleries, peer critiques. And then convert your traditional carousel brainstorming into online docs. So just wanted to share some ways to use, again, Easy Tech curriculum, these different digital skills for remote learning environments. All right. Before I move on, do we have any questions? I'm going to check here. You guys are really quite group.
That's what I was basically say.
or I'm just spitting out so much information right now. Their minds are spinning.
So does anybody in the group have anything to add to that? What are your teachers doing or to engage that remote learning? So Tiffany had a lot of great ideas out there. Is this something that you can take back to your teachers? And feel free to unmute and talk to us.
Absolutely. Don't be shy. Okay, I saw a few. Yes, I see a few comments are coming in now. We love the ideas, and we'll be sharing those out. Thank you, Lindsay. Daniel Smith from Washington County. These are great ideas. We'll definitely make the suggestions to teachers on some of the best practices. Great. And again, you'll have access to these slides as well, and also the recording, right? So, you know, if you're more than welcome to share those out. And if I need to have another statewide webinar on more engagement strategies and go a little more in depth, let me know. I need feedback. I need feedback. I need webinar ideas, and I take those. And I do my own set of webinars, and also we have our trainers available for any district specific webinars as well. So love the feedback. Thank you. All right. So before we're going to be moving on into the DLA, but I just wanted to share this as just a reminder for using our learning.com Easy Tech curriculum in the lesson plan cycle, because we are going to be talking about the digital literacy assessment, but I've also talked a bit about the skills checks and how they are a part of not only our Easy Tech curriculum, they actually are a part of the remote learning sequences starting in 3rd grade. And they're also part of Techquest. So you're going to see skills checks come up several times. So just wanted to provide a graphic to explain the lesson plan cycle. I feel that this is also very valuable to share with your educators and your media coordinators, you know, classroom teachers, whoever is responsible for your learning.com content. So formative assessments, we have our skills checks starting with the pre, starting in 3rd grade, and then adaptive keyboarding. So that is a couple of formative assessments. We also, don't forget, we have the digital literacy assessment that is completely optional as well. We have a benchmark at the beginning of the year and then a summative assessment at the end. We have direct instruction, which comes through those discussions, common sense education items, the lessons, which lessons are also that self-paced direct instruction that the students get, and then also keyboarding lessons starting in kindergarten. Practice and application. Again, application exercises. These are one items that I have been really trying to make sure that our educators across the board or just see the value in these, because it is literally extending the learning process for your students by applying what they've learned through the lessons and the discussions. So it could be like a little mini project. It could be something like, you know, a little matching exercise, typing in responses, doing a little research paper when you get to the older grades. Those application exercises are wonderful to use to extend the practice, right? And practice and extend the application of what they've learned, apply what they've learned from the lessons. Guided practices and also adaptive keyboarding. Again, adaptive keyboarding, using that as touch typing, a diagnostic to see how your students are doing on touch typing, and then they will have areas to practice on. So it will tell them what zone areas they need to work on through various exercises. And then summative assessments. These come through our quizzes, skills checks, the post. So the skills check will come at the end of that digital skill instruction. So that could be, let's say you've you assigned a pre-test to online safety and digital citizenship. You have your lessons in between, your applications, and your application exercises and discussions for the content, and then the post at the end. We always say that the good rule of thumb, and efficacy studies do show this. So this is not Tiffany just throwing out a number here, but efficacy studies show that there needs to be at least 4 content launches in between the pre and the post. Okay, we do have a lot more in, curriculum available, but at least 4 to show growth on that post test. Okay, and then adaptive keyboarding, of course, the DLA summative is another summative assessment. All right, DLA. I did hold a webinar on this. It was just last week. And I will be sharing out the full recording for that. It was an hour long as well, but wanted to make sure that you knew that this was available to you at no additional cost. It is in your Easy Tech curriculum. It is actually a separate tile that you see right here, digital literacy assessments. And those are, of course, aligned to the 2016 ISTE student standards. And it is used to test your elementary, your 5th grade, and your middle school, your 8th grader students' comprehension of digital literacy skills. So you as an educator would be able to use that data to evaluate student achievement. Then you would take that and it would inform your instruction, and then you would assign our curriculum to overcome those gaps, those skill gaps, to promote mastery. I did link out some more information here, but we're going to go a little further into this. So again, what is the DLA? It assesses and gives report information in each of the ISTE standards, student standards. There's a benchmark at the beginning of the year. This is your pretest. We say that benchmark really needs to occur before your digital literacy or digital skills instruction happens. So ideally, within the first 30 to 60 days, I do realize this year is very unique. So I would even extend that within the first 30 to 90 days, you would want to have your students take the pretest if you are interested in using the DLA, or before your digital skills instruction happens. And then the summative post-test for the end of the year. So usually you'll see this come around the end of April or May timeframe. So once that digital skills instruction hasn't completed, then it would be a great time to do the summative. There is a 5th and 8th grade version, and there's also 2 versions. There's a full DLA and snapshot version, and we're going to talk about the 2. So the test format for the full DLA assessment, there are 54 questions for the full assessment, and that's for 5th and 8th grade students. And there's 2 questions per indicator on the ISTE standards. So this is just what that's showing. So that's for the full. Your students can stop and take that test. They're probably not going to finish it in one class period. It may take several. They can pause it and return back to it. So, what you should learn from that DLA, whether it be from the full or the snapshot, is that do your students have the knowledge or skills to use technology to really transform their learning experience versus just having the skills to use technology? Okay. That being said, I have heard that some districts use this assessment at a grade lower. That is used for benchmarking. Let's say that the 4th graders use it at the beginning of the year to benchmark, and then they plan for the official year the next year. So this gives them, of course, another opportunity to cover the skills they were lacking. Okay, so what you really want to do is create you want a good capture of your students' knowledge so you can plan accordingly for your technology skills instruction throughout the year. Now, your snapshot also is another option. Let's say that you do not have as much time, or your students don't have as much time to take the 54 question test. The snapshot is 28 questions. The difference between this, obviously less questions. However, each question is at the standard level. So you can see it's pointing just to the standard level. Okay. All right. So a few characteristics about the DLA. It does have different types of questions. So there's drag and drop, there's check boxes, radio buttons, there's images, image associations, there's hotspots, classifying information. So again, there's different types of test questions. It uses critical thinking skills, application of digital literacy concepts in real life scenarios. There are some multi-part questions. It is only available in English right now, and also questions cannot be randomized at this time. So I want to invite you, if you would like to, or you can follow along with me. You can log into your teacher account or to your district coordinator account to see. I wanted you to see some of the DLA. If you're not familiar, you're more than welcome to follow me, especially if you don't have two screens. I know it can be difficult, but I just want to make sure we know how to get to the digital literacy assessments and what is available there. We do have two tiles that's available. There is a test prep with a practice assessment, and there is also the complete assessments as well, and the snapshots. So if you would like to, you are more than welcome to use your own account. I'm just going to go ahead and log in to my account, and you can watch with me if you would like. While I'm doing this, if there's any questions, please send those in. Those of you that are also have a coordinator role, this is the new coordinator portal. Most of you've probably seen this by now, but things have moved around just a little bit. Your menu is at the very top, okay? You probably are using users a lot by managing educators and students, and also your dashboards. And here is where you'll find that digital literacy assessment dashboard. So I'm going to switch over to the teacher portal right now. And so you can see exactly where to find and assign the DLA. All right. So from here, you got your main menu, and you're going to click on library, the library tile. So on your screen, you should see, of course, your remote learning. These are the North Carolina remote learning sequences. All right. And then you have your licensed curriculum here. And then digital literacy assessments, like I said, has its own tile. So if you click there, you're going to see the snapshots assessments for 5-8, full assessments, and test prep. I just want to go in and show you for test prep. You can use this with a practice assessment. They have practice assessment. They have answer key and vocabulary. Really great to have, just kind of prep your students to actually know what to expect when it comes to vocabulary. If you want to view anything, let's say you want to view the practice, you can click on view, and then you can see exactly, just click on student preview up top because it's going to take you to the teacher dashboard. Click on student preview, and from here, you're going to be able to start as a student and see this is just getting them familiar with the question types, okay? So reviewing the vocabulary from test prep, they need to be able to use the vocabulary in context, right? But this is just really getting them engaged in how the questions may come up. So just wanted to give you a preview of this. There's some drag and drop, again, just to practice the different question types for this. Okay. All right, I'm going to return back to teacher mode. And then I'm going to go back into my breadcrumbs from digital literacy assessments. So if you want to assign the full assessment or snapshot, you can go into one of those. You're going to see the benchmark here for 5th grade, the summative for the end, and the same for the 8th grade. Now, what I do recommend for you guys is to, when you're setting up assessment, just create a class. And maybe you want to create a class. I probably already did this at one. Yep. See how I created an individual class here, DLA 5th period? You can also duplicate class enrollment or create a group in the class that has all the same members of the class. But just make sure what you can do is you can make this class inactive. You can see I've already assigned this. But for this class, you can make this in, you see how this little checkbox here is not checked? If I do not check that box, that means my students will not see that assessment. So when you're ready to give that assessment, click active and save it, and then they will be able to take the assessment. All right. Make sure the minimum score is set to 0. Very easy though. I always suggest to just create a class or duplicate or create a group with those same members. Okay. All right, so I just want to show you how easy that was. But again, going back to digital literacy assessments, we have lots here. If you want to see exactly what it looks like as a student, you can go right here and click View. And I've had this question come up before, and I want to address, the question was, hey, Tiffany, do you have a printout or where we can print out all these questions? We do not. You can only see the student questions by going to student preview. We do this to keep the test as secure as possible. So just to know that you have to go to student preview. You're not allowed to, we don't have like a list of questions, if you will. And then you can view it as a student. So click start. And maybe we want to actually practice with this. We have a few minutes, right? So let's answer some of these together, shall we? And make it a little more interactive. And maybe you want to unmute or put it in your chat. But on your screen, you should see the first question pop up. Again, this is the benchmark for 5th grade. It's on about a 3rd grade. I think it's on about a 3rd grade reading level. And I think the 8th grade one's on about a 6th grade reading level. Okay. So here we go. Who could answer this question? Who would like to share? You are not able to access the school network on your new laptop. A message appears that says an error occurred when trying to connect. What should you do first when trying to fix the problem? So let me show you the full screen here. Okay, so what should you do first? Make sure your laptop is plugged in, check your internet connection, exchange a laptop for another one, or restore the laptop's system settings. All right, so what do you think? All right, oh, yay, I see chat's coming in. Great, check your internet connection. So I'm gonna click that one. And remember, we are being the student right now. I'm gonna click next. All right, okay. Just to show you a different kind of question style here. Feedback helps improve the work that you do. You get feedback digitally from humans. Sort the answer choices below. Okay, so they would need to sort this as well. So you would just drag and drop here, right? Okay. Human feedback. Okay, what would that be, right? So, and I'm just clicking here. Okay. I'm just clicking just so you can see. I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing right now. But you guys, I've heard people say, hey, I went through this and I tried it out and I thought it was quite difficult. Let's try this one together. Just for fun. Your favorite author cannot come to school to share her new book with your class. What would be a good way for her to share it instead? Social media, letter, video, conference, or email? Send those answers in. So your favorite author cannot come to school to share her new book with the class. What would be a good way for her to share it instead? All right, I see some of you saying yes, yes. Video conference. All right, choose the radio button here and then move on. So as a student, just wanted you to see lots of different things here. You know, it's very interactive. All right, drag and drop. And students can skip questions as well. Like I just skipped over to 7. There's a drag, a drop down menu. And they can skip, they can click next. Just so you can see, they will be prompted to review their work before submitting. Okay. They can exit out of the assessment, pick up where they've left off. They can click settings. There's color schemes here, so they can change the background. They can also set the font size differently, and then also gives control or how to zoom. And then they can just click ahead. It is skipping, but they can go back and review. All right. So this little line just means, hey, it's attempted. They did not attempt this this question, so you can see this just so you can see. And students won't be able to submit their test if they haven't answered a question. Okay. All right. So let's go back. All right. So they've taken their assessment, whether it be the snapshot or the full version. They submit it, they're going to see a percentage. Now, as a teacher, you can see percentages for the class, each student, and a breakdown by the ISTE standard. Remember, they're broke down by the ISTE standard. So what is the significance? As a reminder, this is the DLA is a norm reference test. So that is different, of course, than a criterion reference test. Just as a quick review, criterion reference means there is a certain score to attain to pass. So thinking about like a driver's test, certification test. But this is a norm reference test, and it compares an individual scores to its peers taking the same test. All right. So they're going to get a percentage, but that percentage needs to be considered in reference to their peers that took it. So when we look at, maybe I gave an example here, when we look at like a 62%, we're like, oh, that's not so great. But, you know, if others got more of like the 45%, you know that that's actually not a bad score, right? All right, so just wanted to remind you what kind of test it is. And then the DLA coordinator dashboard, I just took a little screenshot here. It is set based on students currently taking the assessment. So you have to have at least one student has to complete the assessment for this to show. And it will compare other students that took the same assessment. So just so you know, again, as a review, I want to show you again where that lives. That is going to live on your coordinator your coordinator user interface right here, your dashboard. You see this digital literacy assessment here. I know we have a lot of coordinators on today. Now, you don't see anything here because we haven't completed, nobody's taken the test, but your dashboard would be able to show you how they are performing, okay? There's also reports you can run. I have included all that information because there's so much information about the DLA, about the different ways to see the data as well. And I have put those resources in here as well because I knew I would run out of time. And just some tips and strategies to help your students do well on the assessment. You know, giving your students those opportunities to work as individuals, maybe partners, groups that are similar to the question structure on the test. Could be through multiple answers, real life scenarios, answers that can go more in one and go in more than one category. Making sure that students understand that, of course, test taking is its own skill, and they can be worked on, improve on. I can tell you right now, I've never been a good test taker, but it's something that I have worked on. I had tutors, especially with anything statistics wise, anything math. Test taking was just not my forte, right? I did well in my academic classes, but test taking is just really a skill that you have to work on for some people, right? Whereas other people, you feel like they don't have to study very much and they can just take a test and pass with flying colors. So I was always the one that had to work on test taking. And I know we have to do that too with any kind of end of course testing as well. Integrating vocabulary into instruction. Again, word walls. There is vocabulary even for the DLA. There's, for the prep for assessment, vocabulary, you can review that. Also, any kind of vocabulary that are attached to our lessons, our Easy Tech lessons. And then have students start with Easy Tech lessons, but then have them use digital tools. Okay. All right, so that's with the starting point. I also just wanted to remind you, I just included maybe a slide, maybe a slide or two, maybe one slide, just to show you again, with the digital learning assessment, it being based on the ISTE standards for student. As a reminder, those digital literacy assessments provide practical insight into how well your students comprehend digital literacy concepts in relation to the ISTE standards for students. And for student standards in the areas of digital learning, K-12, as you know, North Carolina adopted the ISTE standards as the North Carolina Digital Learning Standards, and this year is implementation year. So, and these standards did replace the information and technology essential standards. So, just wanted to show you could see that correlation, right? Because the ISTE standards were adopted. So, I do feel like the DLA, again, it is completely optional. It is not a requirement, but it would be a great baseline to use at the beginning of this school year to see and identify those skill gaps, right? And then assign your instruction, your digital skills instruction accordingly. And this is just an example here on the screen, how just one of our lessons, how it matches up with the North Carolina digital learning standards of digital citizen, okay? And then I have also included DLA resources, like I said. I not only tagged the support site, you can search DLA. Just want to show you how much is out there. If you're not familiar with the support site, support.learning.com, please become familiar with it. Also share with your colleagues. There's tons of information. Look how many documents are on the DLA. So not only do you have the DLA's and dashboard and reports, you have also for your teachers as well. So you can click on those and look at what those look like. Again, this is what it looks like completed. And let me make that just a tad bigger. So as you can choose from your assessments dashboard, you can see the ISTE standards, and then also the overall data, which I had a screenshot of, your standards data, and then you can click on the information icon to learn more. So it goes through, it compares schools. All right. Tells you exactly where to go. You can also export the assessment reports, and that also goes for teachers as well. So that's DLA and skills checks information all there. And then again, DLA, if you type it in again, you're going to see the scores, finding and assigning, getting ready, and we've already touched base on that today. So just so you know, it is here. Again, assessments coordinator, DLA scores, what it looks like. Here's an 8th grade example here based on each standard, and then you can print reports. Okay. All right, and as a reminder, and Audrey and Cami did say this in the beginning, that if you're interested in free professional development for your public school unit, please reach out to me, and I can work with you on your district needs, goals for the year. I know that we've worked with some of you already. Some of you requested a recorded webinar specific to maybe your media coordinators or CTE teachers for your district, and we were able to supply that. So we do not only live instructor training, we also do pre-recorded webinars, again, specific to your district's needs or charter school needs. And also, I do offer webinars throughout the year. I am looking for more topics. If there's anything, you know, that you feel like you need more training on, and if it's going to benefit, you know, the crowd, I'm going to probably offer that as a statewide webinar. Of course, we have our home-based meetups as well for these touch points as well that we're starting training. So this is obviously another great opportunity for professional development. But just wanted to share with you, it is free, so do not hesitate. I have talked to many of you already on this call about professional development, and we've already set things up. But if you're still thinking about it, please don't hesitate, reach out. And then just how to stay connected. Here I've included some resources. The webpage for learning.com. This is informational support where we spent some time today, and then online training center. We also have an editorial for digital skills, and then following us on Twitter if you would like to follow us, product and company information and customer support team. And then as a reminder, if you need technical support, please do not hesitate. Your educators can do the same. It is not just limited to coordinators. You can email or chat with them. It's an instant chat, and they are available 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, Cammie, that is all I had for our training portion today.
Yeah.
So I know that was a lot of information, but I hope you guys found that helpful in the tips and strategies. And I know that we wanted to, you know, make sure there's time for questions, but I know Cammie and Audrey were going to lead us into a discussion networking event.
Yeah, and before we do that, I saw a comment from Danny,
Okay.
I think, that the practice assessment is really good to prepare them for the actual assessments.
Oh, I missed that one. Okay, great.
So, and I would love to hear any other comments out there.
Yes.
We would love to, those of you that do have this in your 5th and 8th grades for the DLAs assessments, would you consider using that this year? I think about it as, you know, as legislatures ask us to provide evidence of student growth, it would be great to have some of that pre and post or benchmark and end of year assessment in place to kind of show that data for your districts and to show if learning.com is working for your district.
Right.
So what do you guys think about that?
That's a great point, Cammie.
We're just going to have to unmute everybody and say, please talk.
I have heard more interest in using the DLA. I did definitely have some people attend the webinars. We had very little interest last year or anyone that used the DLA, but it was our first year implementation. So the DLA is just one way to show growth, and also, of course, using the skills checks. But I agree with Cammie. I think it's very timely, also especially with the North Carolina digital learning standards as well. So very timely assessment.
I would say the assessment is exceptional. Would like to get a chance to use it. I could just say right now with the first beginning of the year testing that we're doing with iStation, we've got some other benchmark type testing we're doing with gap assessments and being completely virtual. We've had some struggles with that. Asking my teachers or students or parents in that matter try to go through another assessment right now is probably not going to go over very well. So I think that is probably going to be something I might try to do in the spring. Not right now.
No, that's great feedback.
Yes, definitely. Thank you. All right. So if you have any other comments, just unmute and let us know. And is there anything else that you guys wanted to see or you thought you'd get today and that we can talk about? I would love is the person that had the kindergarten issue, do you mind letting us know? Do you know which lesson that was in? And maybe Tiffany could show that to us so we could see what the actual issue is, and or anybody else that wants to talk about anything. We're going to give you just another minute or two to see what you'd like to discuss before we end our meeting today. All right, and while we're waiting for those questions to come in, I am going to be reaching out, or Audrey's going to be reaching out to some of you guys. We want to do some spotlights of people that are using learning.com. Maybe your instructional coaches that are enjoying using it. We would love to feature them in our bulletins and also at these home-based meetups. We want to reach out to you, and please, as we reach out, think about who we can spotlight in your district. Those codesters, Ron, if you have a teacher that's doing really well with those and is enjoying that and wouldn't mind being spotlighted, we would want to have a picture of them and maybe a 2 or 3 paragraph little interview with them to spotlight in one of our upcoming DPI bulletins and in our home-based meetup here. All right, so Tiffany, I'm gonna let you. Are you still presenting, right? Since your computer seems to be faster than mine, if you don't mind going to the next slide, and we'll if any questions come in, this is your time to do it.
All right. Okay, there you go.
Okay. Here's this Hbmu virtual schedule for 2021. And as you can see, the next home-based meetups will be November 2020. And there are your dates, the 16th through the 20th. And then after that, you'll have the next one will be February, and the next one April. But by November, more than likely will still be virtual. Hopefully by February, we'll all be back and able to meet person to person. But if not, we'll still be glad to do virtual. Okay, next. And this is your home-based team. As you have all heard, Rob Dietrich is our home-based manager. Pam Batchelor is the digital learning systems consultant. Justin Connor is our Power School business manager. And Cami, as you all know, is our education product consultant. Tessa Hines is our home-based is on the home-based professional learning team, and so is John Myers. Yolanda Wilson is our technology support analyst, and myself, Audrey Long, education program specialist.
Okay, and I've placed the certificate link and feedback link in the chat. I do want to thank all the DTL staff that joined us today. We have several we didn't mention, but we do want to thank you guys for joining us today, several on our home-based team and on the digital teaching and learning team. And I put the feedback link in there for you. Thank you to Tiffany for doing that great training session. She does so well that we usually have to read a few questions to ask her. And I hope you enjoyed that today. We will meet back in November. So like Tiffany said, we want some ideas. What do you want to get at next home-based meetup? And I love that we had so many people join us today. So thank you very much.
Thanks.
Tiffany, do you want to say anything else before we wrap up our session today?
I just did see, were you able to post that link to the feedback?
The feedback, yeah.
It looks like maybe they didn't see it.
Oh, maybe I didn't do it to everybody. Let me see.
Okay.
I just want to thank you again to our partners at DPI and also to our learners out in the field. It has been a not only a challenging start of the year, but it's been a great start of the year. I have been able to meet with most of you on the call for virtual meetings. And if I haven't had the opportunity, I would love to meet with you and really talk about your digital literacy goals for this year and different implementation options to really optimize usage this year. So if you've heard from myself or Audrey or Cammie about scheduling a success planning meeting, we would love to meet with you. I've been trying to schedule those out, and if you have 30, 45 minutes to just dedicate to us talking about implementation this year and what that can look like. And again, your goals as a district of usinglearning.com, I would really appreciate it for sure. And they have been well received, those meetings. And, I've been able to not only talk about those goals, but also show all the new features off in a little more in depth, and also schedule any professional development needs. So please do not hesitate to reach out. I do try to stagger my communication. I don't want to overwhelm you guys. I know there's a lot coming your way right now. I do try to limit my communications as much as possible. So any kind of new stuff, again, the new stuff is still coming, so expect those emails from me. But lots of still new, exciting things coming. I'm really excited about the remote learning lessons, and that will be a big announcement as well. And then, of course, the new teacher dashboard to complement the Techquest. So again, thank you so much to DPI staff team, home-based teams, and digital teaching and learning, and also just for attending today. It has been great, and I'm so happy that I'm still a part. I feel still much a part of the team. I just really appreciate this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Tiffany.
Thank you.
And thank you. And I do want to remind, we had that funding question earlier. If you guys have any questions about that, do email Audrey and I, and we'll get you in touch, and we'll work with Jill Darrow. She's working with our regional consultants in your different regions. And we'll get you that information if you have not seen that updated policy, that it is only used for the student licenses this year. And we'll point you in the right direction and help you out. So just let us know. Thank you guys again for attending. And Tiffany, if you made me presenter, or can I take that back?
Okay, let me see if I can do that. All right, and I'm going to stop sharing.
There we go. And I think then I can go ahead and end the webinar if we don't see any other questions coming in.
I have stopped sharing now.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you so much, Daniel. Glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah, Daniel said we had a great time today. Good information.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you guys. You guys go have a great afternoon.
Okay. Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.